I'm in the car park here at Avalon Fisheries. Don't think I've done any filming here before for you guys on the Average Angler channel. I haven't actually ever fished a match here, I don't believe. I can't remember an incident where I fished a match here. I have pleasure fished it a few times, usually in the winter, so I am going in a little bit blind, but I have been here before. I know what it's like. It's a deep venue, straight down, straight across, straight back up again on the far banks, on the edges. It's an old peat diggings, I think. So we're kind of, I think we're something like, look, I'll probably put the results on next to me rabbiting on, but I think I'm sort of sitting 5th overall or 6th overall and 4th on silvers or something like that. So I'm in the mix for both because I'm paying out top 4 silvers and top 4 overall. That puts me in kind of a quandary on what to do today. I'm probably going to do an all-around approach and just see how we get on. I'm just going to, we had a lot of rain last night, but it's lovely again today. Maybe that'll put them on the deck, or maybe the cold rain will go to the bottom. They'll all come right to the top again. Who knows? So I've got all the same usual gear, but I just thought I'd just have a chat about how yesterday went. I felt like I started on the pellet wag. I felt like that was going to be the way to go, and I had one straight away. And then I just couldn't get another one to have a take for ages, and I've been pinging the meat down the line down the middle, and I was also pinging some pellets over to my edge, with a hope to sort of slap a rig into the edge. But the sun was to my right and the edge was to my left, so time I went out there, the shadow of the pole was going into the bank, and I never really had the confidence to sort of start slapping shallow into there with a shadow flapping around. It would have been pointless, so I didn't really use that line tight, but I did put some bait on the bottom there and caught there. So I'll come on to in a second. So after I'd been throwing the pellet, I threw the pellet waggler just without any feed, and then I did try feeding, but I couldn't really feed long enough to where I thought the fish were and accurate enough. So I had to go over my meat shallow, and it just didn't happen. So I was then like, what do I do? So I went back on the pellet wagon. I was sort of messing about, switching between the two for a while, and nothing was really happening. So I got some of my edge mix and I put it down that left hand long margin at the 14.5 metre, because my rig that I'd plumbed to fish the edge also fished there on like a slope, and I knew that if I lined up with a certain reed, I was sort of just in the right place on that slope for the float to be sitting nice. And I went in and put some ground bait in there, and put corn in. I went over on it with the corn, and I had some weird indications, some really fast bites that I couldn't hit, and I was like, I don't know if it's small fish or if it's liners or what. So I just thought, oh well, I'll put a bit of meat on. So I went over with a bit of meat, and the float just sort of dipped like that, and then it just went across the top, back out into the open water, like a blooming perch has got hold of it or something. And then when I lifted, there was a 6-pound carp on it. It must have just sucked the bait in and not even realised it had the rig in its mouth, and just cruised out the swim. I got him out, and then I never had another carp over that line. But when I went over it with the meat, I kept having skimmers, and they were good skimmers. So I stuck with that for a bit. It had a top up, and it produced another couple of skimmers, and then it had another top up, and it was just like he didn't want it then. So I was like, oh, that's giving me some confidence that the edge mix is going to draw some fish in. So I went back out on my meat line where I've still been pinging, nothing. I've never had anything over that meat line all day, which is quite frustrating. I feel like that's probably what's cost me not being a little bit further up. If I'd have done something different there, that had got me just 2 carp. I mean, the carp are averaging 6-8 pound on the day. 2 carps, another 15 pound, say, and that's gonna bump me up into a much better position. But that's hindsight. So in the end, I've come down the edge 2 hours early. A bit early, I've come down to my left-hand edge, put some of the edge mix in with a bit of corn, and I've had a run of really nice skimmers. And I was like, oh, that's nice. But I thought the carp would come in, but they just haven't. And then I've sort of sat at that, and that's took quite a few top-ups before that started to go a bit iffy, which was quite good. And then as it got a bit iffy, I thought, oh, I'll put some more bait in there and I'll leave it. And I could see that some fish had moved in on the pellet waggler air line, and I chucked the pellet waggler out again. Straight away it's gone round again, and then I chucked it out again, and I've had another one, and then they're gone again. And you can't feed them in. It was weird. It was a strange day, but I couldn't feed them in. onto that pellet wag line. No, but I don't know if I spoke to the rest of the lads, I don't know if anybody did that on the pellet wag, especially down our end of the lake. And then I've come in the edge again and just finished off on the down the edge. I did actually have one carp down the edge, but it was only like 2 pounder. So that's like the recap of where we are. Feel like a good day today, and we could get in the top 4 of either of these 2 pools. So let's see how we get on. See you in a bit. Right, 5 minutes in, just fed a couple of lines and then went straight out and slapped down the middle at 14 metres. Never fed a drip, just slapped about 10 times. Not 10 times in a row, but 10 slaps in total. One's at it. I hooked at 14 metres. It went all the way down, almost back up to the far bank. I don't know how big it is, but it's just a wampy little torpedo, I think. Here we are, but I've been told the fish fight really hard in here, and it's very healthy because it's basically we're next to a nature reserve. It is a nature reserve. It's kind of a nature reserve. You see a lot of good wildlife here. And the few times I've fished it, you do see a lot of good wildlife. Just nicked him in the lip. Oops, try not to trash everything. 6 pounder straight in the bag. So I fed a drip on the line that I just caught him from. 1 8mm pellet, plain one. Get another one without feed, and then we might start pinging a few bits of bait in every now and again. Missed another bite there straight away. May get pestered by silvers as well, so we've got to be careful. Just going to stop slapping for a second and just put a little bit of feed in. Oh, far too far that went. Difficult to feed. 8mm is close. I have to feed 6mm and just slap an 8mm perhaps. The bite missed. Suspect we've got a few silverfish in the area. There's loads of little motherless minnows in here. Just chucked some meat down by the side of my platform just to make sure it was sinking. And literally 400 fish just emerged from underneath the platform, tiny little pairs of eyeballs. And the meat just started darting all over the swim, and you're thinking they're tiny little fish, couldn't get the meat in their mouth, but they attacked it with such violence that you'd get a bite off them if they grab it. You'll get a positive indication. Wind's getting up every now and again, making it hard to slap. It makes it hard to turn the rig over, and it makes it hard to keep the rig still after you've slapped it. Tom's had a couple on the waggler, but I'm saving that for a bit. Sometimes I'd add 2 now. So I'll put some micros in right where I'm slapping, and a bit of meat, because my idea is to, if I need to fish on the deck out there. I've got on the deck rig, try and catch some silvers or anything that swims really. If I can't get silvers, if I can't get carp, then I'll get anything that swims. But also in my mind I'm thinking, if I'm slapping here, I'm sort of drawing it, you know, there's fish that want to be on the bottom, I might actually be attracting fish to my swim underneath. Which is another reason why I don't want to feed too much on this. I want to give it a few goes. I might just tweak the rig, because I feel like one of the shots is fishing a little bit deep at the minute. Right guys, we're just about an hour in. I've had 2 carp on the slapping the pole, and it's gone a bit quiet, so what I've done is I've tried over the spot where I slapped on the pole on the deck, nothing. So what I've decided to do is get a pallet wiggler out and see if I can nick a couple, whilst pinging a bit more bait over the slapping line. And I've decided to drop down to pinging 6mm on the slapping line, because then I'll lose the tension on this fish in a moment, because then I can feed a bit more and then have an 8mm standing out and try and build that line. I feel like that's an area I've got to build. Try and get some fish there as the day wears on. This fish, I suspect, is foul hooked, because the pellet waggler had been in for sort of 10 seconds and I was just winding back and I pulled into it. So it's either just taken the bait as I've oh, there's some rain which we weren't expecting. This is going to totally ruin everything. When he's not near the mouth, not in the mouth. He's I'll go 4. I'll try and cover up some of this bait now. It's not helpful having it raining when it's not been forecast, because I'm just totally unprepared for it. Hoping it'll just be a shower. My camera equipment will be fine, because I always bring it out in a waterproof state anyway. But I don't want to get my pellets wet. I wouldn't have this many pellets out if I thought it was going to rain, because you don't want to get any moisture in your pellets. It's not ideal. I've not fed bait long where I'm tricking the pellet wag, and there's signs of fish there. And I'm tricking it as close to the island as I dare. Got a little clip on just to stop it going in. It's still gone in there, look, as I say that. So I've got to make sure I hit the clip with the rod a little bit high, and then the idea is then I'll still get a wind on the reel. I need one to play a fish on, or just do a really bad cast like that and land it short anyway. So I'm just using the repetitive casting of the pellet waggler to hopefully draw a few fish in and just nick 1 or 2 of these early fish, whilst I try to build I also try to build a perhaps a better shallow swim on the pole line. It's on £15 for 3 fish now. Now we're in. Oh, missed a bite there. That was definitely a bite. Missed him. Bit gutted about that. I didn't get many bites doing this. It was a beautiful cast. It went tight in. It landed nicely. So, hoping this rain's going to ease off pretty quickly. Literally forecast 0 rain until tonight. I'm a little bit caught out by that. Right guys, 2.5 hours in. Still only got 3 carp. Had 2 skimmers short on the pole. Quite quickly after trying. I can't catch on that either. It's like a top getting 2. I'm just getting the pellet wag right first chuck for a while. Now a couple of puts with the pellet wag and see if we can get lucky. I might start pinging some bait over there as well now. And now that the rain's sort of backed off a bit, I'm on a chance. Start pinging some 6mm. A little bit longer. Perhaps onto the point of this island. I'll just see how we get on. Nice. Maybe with 6mm is that. I can't quite reach, but it's harder for me to accidentally put one in the far bank vegetation. Fish. It's harder for me to put it in the far bank vegetation, which I don't want to do, because if I put it in the far bank vegetation, the carp will come in, start slipping, I can't catch them. Can't catch them there. Watching this wind because rock blowing me pole over. Right guys, it's 1:15. Still only got me 3 carp. One of them just tried to get out the net and failed. Still only got me 3 carp. And I've got 3 skimmers. I've got a 2.5 pound skimmer, a 3.5 pound skimmer, and a pound skimmer. So that puts me on what, £6? Maybe £7 of skimmers, which puts me on a grand total of about £22. So I say £20 to be safe, because I always overestimate my silvers. I caught it from where I'm fishing now, which is like top getting 2. I had 2 skimmers over this area, and I put some Tom's Heads mix down in this. I've used Tom's Heads mix because it's quite deep, this lake. Sort of 6 foot deep there where we're fishing. Same depth there as it is at 14 metres. And when I put some bait in there that the fish came to it. So what I decided was, you know, I've ended up chucking my pellet waggler up the bank and getting stuck in a tree and snapped up, so I'm just not bothering with it. It's just not working anyway. Slapping's a no-no now. Can't seem to catch on it. So I decided I'm going to have to go for silvers for a bit. So I thought, sod it, and I put 3 big balls straight in down here, and then half a cup of big particles as well, like corn and meat. And then I went down the edge for 10 minutes and tried to, oh, there's a little indication there then, went down the edge for 10 minutes and tried to catch one from down the edge, but failed. And when I've gone over this line, I've sort of waited 5 minutes, float's gone under, and I've had that bigger bream, that 3.5 pound bream. So that's where we're at. Still odd people catching odd carp on the pellet waggler and swinging out, but I can't seem to make it work, so I've given up on that. This is what we're doing for the foreseeable future. I'm contemplating now mixing up some more edge mix and perhaps putting a bit more bait out on the long line. It seems to have worked here on this short line. And having another line further out with some edge mix in. I have got a line of the same rig out there at 14.5 metres. I've put some bait on it and I've not really caught over it. I've put micros on it. And some particles, but I've not really caught over it. I'll put a bit of ground bait in so that just draws them in. So that's what the difference is between the 2 lines. As you can see, it's not fast and furious. I'm not going to keep you on too long. The wind's howling, the rain's coming down. None of it's forecast. It's fantastic. But that's what you get with this beautiful British weather. So if this float don't go in the next couple of seconds, and I'm going to switch you off. Well, as you can see, guys, the weather's continued to take a turn for the worst. I've actually got my rain hood on top of my sun hat, because that's all I've got with me. Luckily, I bought a waterproof jacket with me in the van, so something waterproof. Not a lot's changed. No more carp. I've got a couple more skimmers on this line in front of me where I am now. I'm just fishing just past it at the minute just to see whether anything wants it just past. It's just becoming increasingly difficult to make anything happen. I think I've had 2 or 3 good sized skimmers in total, a couple of smaller ones. Don't know how that stands me when it comes to silvers. Whether other people have sat it out and fished for silvers, I don't know. Tom's catching carp next to me still on my right. Going to my left, John, who's the match organiser, he's had a good run of carp in the last sort of hour or so, and then I've heard that the guys further down the lake, at the other end of the lake, so the other end of the lake, I'm kind of in the middle, the guys to the right of the lake, I'm just left the centre of the lake. It's a long, thin lake, this lake. The guys down there have emptied it apparently, so I figured there's no point me trying to get involved in the carp war, because all the guys that had good weights carp last time are down the other end, still catching good weights of carp. Tom's next to me getting good weights of carp, so I'm not going to catch him up either. So I might as well just sit it out down the edge here for silvers. Everyone must be finding it hard for silvers, so I figured I'll just try and catch some better ones, but even that doesn't seem to be happening like you would think. So what I've done is I've just put a big pot of three big pots of edge mix down my right on the top kit. I'm just on a top kit. I mean it's a throwaway line because I'm pretty much expected to get nothing. And I've also put 30 grains of corn on it, so I won't leave it too long. I'm just going to have another little look on this line now, and then if this line I'm on now doesn't give me a bite, I'm going to give it another big top up, because big top ups of ground bait on this line have produced me a few skimmers in the past. Well, I have been like kinder potting bait down one hole trying to catch some silvers doing that, and it worked for a while. I had a couple of nice roach and a nice rud. I had another nice bream and I thought, oh, this is working, but seems to have died on its bottom again now, so maybe it needs another, just a big top up again. Draw some more fish in. It may kill it, but I've got to lose at this point. Not exactly flying. Right, guys, we've got 45 minutes to go. Last time I spoke to you, I put ground bait down my right hand edge. And I put ground bait out long. I said I was going to do that, I think. That's what I said I was going to do. I did that. I've been out long and caught nothing over it. And I went down my right hand edge. And I hooked one. He done me under my platform. He didn't break me, but he pulled out of him while I was trying to stop and get any further under the platform. It was a bit hairy. I thought my top kit was going to snap. It was bent right on double underneath me, but I managed to hang on. But sadly the hook pulled. I've not had any more indications down there since. So I've come back on this line and then I can't get a bite on it. Even though I'd put some ground bait on it before I tried the other two lines, and just couldn't get a bite on it. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? Because I can't get a bite anywhere. So I decided to put some meat through the kinder pot. Added a little bit of depth to the rig because I felt like it was towing hard and the rig was just dead depth, and I was wondering whether the tow with the meat on was just lifting the sort of strung out shotting pattern, and I was just wondering whether a little bit of a curve in the rig and it was just off the bottom, and that was why we weren't getting so many indications or takes. So I added like 2 inches to the rig, bulked it down a bit more, so I've not been getting anything on the drop anyway. And in the last 5 minutes, I've had 2 bream that are 2.5 pound probably, maybe a bit more. I'm going to focus on this for the last 45 minutes now, just try and nick a few more bream and just see if I can get myself into this overall silvers frame, because I feel like everything else has got away from me. There's, guys catching carp now. They've just stuck at it all day doing the shallow fishing. My shallow fishing game is just not there yet. Can't compete with these guys, I've got to work at it a bit more. Still raining. It rained really hard earlier on. I did put the camera on for a bit, I don't know if it picked up any footage, just to show how much it had been raining earlier on. It's crazy. Getting some bubbles on around the float right now, so that tends to be what happens before you catch a better one. Kind of give themselves away by rooting around on the bottom and putting up a few bubbles. So hopefully I shall get a bite in the next few seconds. I've been really surprised that there's no carp come down on these lines, because I've put quite a bit of bait on them. Oh, I'll be back in for a second. I'm not going to refeed just yet. Tom on the peg to me right said one carp jump out of his nets. It can happen here. It can happen in a lot of places, but here apparently is quite bad for it. Just such an energetic fishing here, so well looked after.
He missed that one with the net shot.
I was hoping to get one on the camera for you, and I think I missed my chance there with that bite, but there's still a bit of fizzing, so maybe there's one around. can't believe it's still raining. We've forecast no rain until tonight, and it's rained for half the match. Quite frustrating. Yesterday they forecast overcast and nice and warm but overcast. So I sort of went out and I thought, I wouldn't be putting any sunbreak or anything on tomorrow. It'd just be a nice day to sit out, and ended up cooking a light, getting cooked. Luckily I didn't get sunburnt, but it was borderline, I think. If it had been a bit warmer I would have done. So I'm going to start putting some sun cream in my bag, just for emergencies, in the bottom of my box. It's that time of year. Ooh, little indication.